Are you searching for physiological causes of your anxiety, trying to find out if there is a physical cause? Seems like your anxiety is coming out of nowhere. Well, my name is Dr. Taranella, and in this video, we're going to discuss 5 physiological causes for anxiety. These are the 5 most common reasons that I see in my practice, and we're going to discuss the effect of hormones, digestion, biogenic amines, nutrition, and addiction and substances that can lead to anxiety. So if you're interested in learning more about these physiological causes of anxiety, keep watching. We're going to get into the details. We're all about helping you gain a deeper understanding of your health and what's going on with your body. Hopefully this video gets you a little bit closer towards that aim. Also wanted to point out that sometimes when I'm producing this content, I get a statistic wrong or the name of something wrong, and almost always there's a corresponding blog article on our website, SW Integrated Medicine /blog. You can find it there. Those oftentimes go into a little bit more detail than the videos do as well. So please check that out if you're interested. And it does take considerable effort to produce this content. So if you're liking the information, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you do have questions about any of the content, please ask it in the comment section here or on the blog. That's why I'm producing the information, for you to gain that deeper understanding. So ask the questions if you have them. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. Let's get into it. Okay, so we want to talk about 5 physiological causes of anxiety. And what we're doing here is we're looking for things that are going to sort of move that threshold lower. So if anxiety, once you go through the threshold, you're now all of a sudden you have anxiety or you feel anxious. We're looking for things that move you closer to that threshold. So maybe your baseline is way down here. Move that up, way down here, and then now all of a sudden you have some hormone imbalance, and that moves it up to here, or some of the other things that move it up to here, or move it past. So we're looking for things that physical aspects that move you into that, more likely move you into that space of being anxious or having frank anxiety disorder. So the first one I want to talk about has to do with hormones. So there was a previous video that I did, an article on 3 reasons that hormones cause anxiety, or 3 ways hormones cause anxiety is the title. And we talked about some high things, some low things, and some things that are imbalance that can cause that. So you should check that out if you want a little more detail. But here I just wanted to point to that as one of the main causes that I see for anxiety. And can be high thyroid. So maybe you're over medicated with thyroid, or you have hyperthyroidism. Can be high cortisol. So you just have a higher cortisol output. Then you don't necessarily need to have frank hypercortisolemia like Cushing's or anything like that. But just having higher cortisol output will make you more stressed, regardless of other things. And then some of the sex hormones can also do this. So higher testosterone, higher estrogen move that threshold up. Now, when it comes to the sex hormones, certainly being low on that end will make you more anxious too. It's going to make you more fatigued and kind of have like a little sluggish type of anxiety. But it's more so the high end when it comes to things like cortisol and thyroid. And then, like I said, low estrogen, low testosterone can also cause some anxiety too. So, but usually, when we think about hormones causing anxiety, it's the high levels that are going to do that. So, so check out that other video if you want more details. There's go into a lot more detail on that. So the second thing I want to talk about as a physiological cause of anxiety is biogenic amines, biogenic amines. So these are molecules. The category is called amines, but there's biogenic, meaning they have biological activity inside your body and mainly inside the brain and central nervous system. So these are compounds like dopamine, epinephrine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and histamine. So these are all stimulating to your central nervous system. And as a result, the varying levels of these amines can influence that threshold. So it can bring you, closer to that feeling more anxious. And part of this has to do with genetics, and part of it has to do with, what kind of natural state your body is in, your personality, and things like that. But I wanted to discuss how all these molecules are similar and how they might predispose you to having some physical aspects of anxiety. So I want to show you a illustration of these different compounds so you get a better grasp of this. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show here. Basically the similarities between these different amine molecules. So these are all called amines, and you can see even in the name here, dopamine, histamine, and well, the others don't have that same structure, but the overall molecule structure is similar, but they just don't have the amine name in them. So you'll notice the similarity between dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine, and these are all similar. All these molecules are stimulating to the central nervous system and can cause someone to have more anxiety when there's more of them around. So you'll notice the different hydroxyl group here, which is just basically a type of biochemical, and then you'll notice a difference here on the epinephrine from norepinephrine. So this is a process. This is how dopamine is eliminated from the body through these different enzymes. But you'll see the change in structure here, and we're going to talk about that in more detail here in a sec. But also wanted to show the histamine similarities. So there's a difference in the ring structure here from the dopamine and epinephrine. And then here for the serotonin, you'll see a difference in, there's an added ring here. But basically there's some overall similarities in all these amines. And with that similarity, there's overlap in how these are eliminated from your body. So the main two enzymes that eliminate the bulk of histamines and dopamine and epinephrine are COMT, catechol-O-methyltransferase, and MAO-A and MAO-B. Now, there are different steps for each one of these amines to be completely eliminated from the body. So it's not just the it's not just a single step to get these changed into a different structure so they can be eliminated. Oftentimes there's 3, 4, even 5 steps to get them completely changed into something else and eliminated from the body. So I don't want you to think that it's just those two enzymes that break all these down, but that's the common thread for all of these amines is the MAO and the COMT. So those do have genetic variances in them and can lead someone to have a higher amount of amines circulating in their body at any given time, and then it just may take one other thing that will sort of push them over into that anxious state. Now, still, even with that being said, if for instance, you have an alteration in your COMT gene, that does not mean you're going to have anxiety. It means potentially you're a little more predisposed to getting that, but it doesn't automatically mean you're going to have anxiety. But certainly there's a predisposition there. So that's with breakdown. Sometimes there's problems with how much of these amines you produce, or maybe it's not a problem in some cases, but there's sort of decreased production of these amines for nutritional reasons or genetic reasons, and so that may be influencing this too. And so you can't always just assume, since you have an alteration in the enzymes that break these down, that you're going to have a problem. So on the production side, and then potentially even a bigger issues with the receptors, so how all of these molecules fit into the receptors and whether or not those receptors are working the way they should can have a dramatic effect on the whether or not you're feeling anxious or not, or how high levels of these molecules may influence your state of mind at any given time. And So basically, just wanted to show the overlap in the amines and how different levels of amines can influence one's anxiety. And I do find that it's pretty helpful to understand what some of your genetic predispositions are, so we can sort of manipulate those things when possible, because it can help pretty dramatically for some folks when we know what's going on, and we can sort of shift things and help shift their biochemistry in a favorable way. So those are the 5 physiological causes that I came up with. Hopefully that information was helpful. There certainly are a lot more causes, physiological causes for anxiety. And of course, there's the psychological causes as well. But if you had others that you were thinking of and you want to comment on that, put it in the comment section and I'll give you my opinion on those. And certainly there are other causes, physiological causes of anxiety. But if you like this information, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.